Hey everyone, welcome back to another production meeting. As you can see, one of us is missing. But
Who?
is he really?
Who is it?
Who's not
Dang
here?
it.
I don't know.
No.
I can't remember.
Somebody
Matt
missing. I
Weinstein.
feel like everything is complete right now. I feel like everything is perfect. There's no reason to add or subtract anything. This is the perfect scenario. This is great. I don't know who you're talking about. Just kidding, Alex. We miss you. You didn't do any homework, so you didn't show up.
Yeah, bro.
That's like a high school thing. Like, oh, I didn't study for this test. I'm sick. Can I take it in a week?
No. Zero.
He's gonna show up next week. All right, guys, let's talk about Those Who Want Me Dead and Woman in the Window. Like we did last week, man.
Yeah, bro. It's no bueno. Oh well. We do miss you, Alex. But what did you guys do this week?
I think we all watched those movies. I did not watch Spiral, so we're not going to talk about that today. Sorry, guys.
No.
But I have seen probably about 15 minutes of it, and it's like a Saw movie from what I've seen. And the voice of the new Jigsaw, it sounds dumb, so I'm not really that eager to. It's very computerized. There doesn't seem to be any charisma like there was before from what's his face. I can't think of his name right now. Tobin
Bell.
Tobin Bell. There we go.
Is that the word you should use for it? Charisma?
Yeah, I think so.
Man.
I mean, do you listen when Stephen Hawkins talked? Were you like, man, that voice has charisma? When he had his little, So
No, but when I can't. I guess that's fair.
Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah. So I did that. I watched the homeworks, and then I actually watched all 8, 10, whatever episodes of Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix, and it's no The Boys, and it's no Invincible. It's live action. It's kind of like a combination of those, like real world superheroes and like a CW show, like one of their superhero shows. The makeup and costumes in it are pretty bad, especially the wigs. Really bad. Yeah. And it's not a spoiler because I'm going to try to be as vague as possible by just saying twist at the end comes out of left field and really doesn't make sense at all. Like for what the whole show did, the first 9 episodes. So I'm just like, they just did it to be interesting. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense from what you showed me. So I don't know why you did that. But it has its interesting moments. And if you need that real world superhero, real life, not like glamorized, Marvel stuff, for whatever that means, watch it. You'll get your fix. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. What else did I did? I finished watching, and you're probably going to talk about it, Clint, The Nevers. I watched all 6 episodes of that. And did you watch the last episode yet?
I watched part of it.
Okay. It starts off very weird. I was like, this is odd the way you're going to start this last episode, season 1 finale, or part 1, season 1 finale off. Yeah. I felt this way the whole time. I'm just not a fan of the lead. I just use the term charisma as refers to Tobin Bell. I don't believe she has any either. I like the rest of the cast though. I think she's great, and I'm pretty sure this girl auditioned using one of the monologues she gives in the last episode because she seemed almost to have a little bit of charisma in that. I'm pretty sure that's how she got the role. But everything else, I'm not sold on. It's interesting. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes, and I very much like the antagonist in that, or at least the female antagonist in that show, Milady. I think she's very interesting.
Olivia Williams.
Yeah. No. I like Olivia Williams too.
Yeah.
So, but I mean the touched one, the touched.
Yeah.
So I watched that. And I think that's it. There's still a few more episodes of Mary Easttown. I recommend that if you haven't watched it. I really, really, really enjoy that. And I hope that it holds up the last, 2 episodes. I think there's 2 episodes left. So that's what I did. Everything else has been sports. Go Jets, go.
Go Jets, go.
Yeah.
Brian?
I watched a whole lot I'll skip the ones we're talking about later, of course. I watched Profile, which is now playing in theaters. If you liked Searching, but you wish it weren't as good, it's a good thriller for sure. If you hate movies shot on a computer, but you want a good one, and you haven't seen Searching, that's a superior film in every single way. And this tries to capitalize on that a lot. It fails in a lot of respects. It's really sloppily put together as far as the editing goes. There's really weird transitions that are very confusing. And a lot of the structure does not hold up in a computer screen format. Somehow it manages a decent finale. So I gave it a 5, but it's probably a Redbox rental. I wouldn't rush out to see anything this weekend, let alone Profile. Again, I don't know if you guys don't know, it's based on a true story about an investigative journalist who disguises herself as a young Muslim woman to basically gain more information on jihadist recruiting tactics, which knowing that the true story is actually the most interesting thing about it. So I do recommend kind of looking it up ahead of time if you guys are interested. Because it's got some genuinely interesting moments, but it's just a missed opportunity. There's little bits of tension. It's, like I said, solid finale, some good twists and turns. But where was that the whole time? I don't know. And I think it just gets caught up in trying to do the whole thing in the screen, and it does not work as well as the movie thinks it does. On the flip side of the positive, negative movies that I watched, Minari, Best Picture nominee Minari is on Redbox. It is great. I highly recommend it. Anybody who's listening, you do have to read for 85% of it. It is worth reading. It's a really, really great drama. Really great family dynamics, amazing performances. It's so well shot, and it's so much more. I mean, I knew it would be impactful when I watched it, but it's got so many heavy-hitting beats throughout that film that hit so slowly and subtly and kind of changed the way you could do a finale for. I obviously don't want to spoil anything, but you've got your highs and your lows, and it kind of mixes those around in a realistic, real-world way to make the character highs and lows where they should be. And I just love the way they wrote that story.
Were you describing Nomadland?
I don't want to talk about the 8th worst Best Picture nominee from 2020. Now that I've seen the other 7.
Yeah.
I legitimately do that. I'll try to say this with as much bias as possible. Even if I gave Nomadland as much credit as possible, I think Minari was a significantly more impactful film, and at least one of 3 that probably had a better shot at earning Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
They can't give it to 2 subtitled films back to back, man.
No, you are completely right. It's probably why it lost. But solid 8 out of 10. I highly recommend checking it out, Redbox. Even if it's a good one-time watch, which I'm kind of, it does feel like a good one-time watch, which isn't disappointing. You get that with a lot of dramas, but I think it's definitely worth watching. Cool. And I don't know if we're going to talk about season 4 of Castlevania yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
So season 4 of Castlevania kind of quietly came out this weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't even know until Thursday night. We got back from Profile, and I was like, I want something to watch that's good. It didn't start that strong, but that show really lands on its feet.
Mm-hmm.
So again, good recommendation. It's really got it's got some moments that are tough to get through as far as pacing goes. It's not a well-paced show. From the start to finish, even at its most exciting in season 2. Season 2 ends with a 30-minute wrap-up that doesn't matter. It's not a well-paced show at all, but it somehow lands with some really great episodes, wraps up all the stories that matter, ignores the ones that don't in true Lost fashion. And since you're going to end it, you might as well just ignore the stuff we don't care about. I especially love the way that show introduces the idea of video game leveling, and things like upgrading abilities, weapons, boss fights, and it does it so subtly that it's just you kind of just feel like you're watching television, and then you're like, oh, that's where he learns this ability. That's where the player would be learning this. I thought that was really well handled. Even if it was done because it felt like they kind of rushed into season 4, rushed into the end of season 4. But I gave the whole show a solid 7 out of 10. I'd probably give the last season an 8 just of how exciting it gets. Maybe a 7.5. I'll break my half standard. It's tough because Isaac put me to sleep, but then as soon as we got to the finale, I was just on the edge of my seat, rewinding it because I looked down to eat and I missed 3 things that happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty exciting. I will segue over to your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I did this week. I agree with you, Ryan. I think it's solid 8 for the season. I loved Castlevania. I had a hard time going through season 3. I mean, I know that I gave it a high score on my mini review on our webpage. But I think it was just because the animation, the cast. I think that show is so well cast, and the use of like unknowns. You have some people that are known in that show, but there's a few of them that I had to look up. That you would know if you like seen them. But I think the cast is really done really well, and the animation, especially in those like boss fights, is amazing. I think it was just a very well animated show. But yeah, I like season 4 does start a little slow, but I'd say about episode 4 it kind of picks up a little bit. And like you said, it does start to kind of like forget storylines that just were dragged. They were just drags through season 3. And I would say season 3 is probably the low point, but I think this show does wrap up pretty well. And I started my horror movie class. I have a horror movie class.
Yay, that sounds fun.
It is interesting. I love these genre film classes because it breaks it down to like the psychology of like what like these genres are, and like with the monsters and everything. I had to watch Cabin in the Woods again. Just not a bad film to kind of like start your horror movie class with, since it pretty much does every trope and known to man. But yeah, like this week I had to watch The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, some 20. Yeah, this is interesting. And then this week I had to
like
watch
the earliest movie plot twist ever.
Yeah. German expressionist film, silent film. And then I have to watch Dracula, 31 version, and Frankenstein, James Whale's Frankenstein. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting class.
Feels like you should be doing this in October.
You messed up, man. Took it the wrong semester.
Yeah, probably. But oh well. All right. Well, are you guys ready for some news? There's some big WB stuff that happened today. I'm not really sure like what happened. I don't know if this is like this investor day, or they're just like, hey, let's just release all this crap today.
I think there's a coin. One half is WB, one half is Disney, and they're just gonna flip it once a week, and they're like, production meetings is gonna talk all about us this week.
Cool. Thank you for thinking of us. We're getting an Injustice animated movie. Yay!
What?
God Among Us. Yeah, Ryan. Ryan seems okay with it.
Hey, I'm a little excited by this, and when you asked us what we did this week, I left out one glaring thing that I did, and I don't know how I forgot. And this it reminded me of the Injustice news. Reminded me of this. There is an 11-hour video on YouTube of all the cutscenes from Mortal Kombat 9, 10, 11, and the 11's DLC, all spliced together. 11 hours, and I've watched almost the whole thing. I'm 9 hours into it, and let me tell you, it's infinitely better than any of that garbage movie that came out 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's so good comparatively. I highly recommend it. Way more story and no stupid guy in a tight, little shirt. So, but yeah, that said, I'm excited. Injustice is fun. It might not be the greatest game, but it's like an interesting concept.
Yeah. Plus it's animated, so.
Plus it's animated.
Yeah.
So they'll have a hard time messing it up.
Crossing fingers.
Knocking on wood here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, they're animated literally everything else. They might as well start going into video games, I guess. Next, we'll probably be hearing about the Arkham games being animated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So speaking of animated Batman, there's going to be a new Batman animated series and a new Superman animated series. The Batman one is going to come from J.J. Abrams, Bruce Timm, and Matt Reeves, which is a very odd trio of people to kind of like put together. But whatever. The only bad thing about the Batman one is that I guess it's going to be a rehash of all the characters and like new type of story and all this other stuff. So I don't know.
I feel like they always do that stuff. All right, man, let's make a new Batman show. We're gonna make Batman a girl. We're gonna change this character like this. She's gonna drive a motorcycle and have a spaceship and a sidekick that's actually the Penguin. And you're like, what? What is going on here? Can you really make Batman a girl? Okay, sure. It's Batman. It's a girl now.
Cool. Yeah, look, Bruce Timm. I think the only thing that sold me on this is Bruce Timm. At least he's a part of this. Like that first animated series, the '92 version, is probably a masterpiece. I think only second, and probably right above Avatar: Last Airbender, for me at least. But yeah. The Superman one, however, is going to be more family friendly. I guess him and Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen are going to be solving mysteries or fighting bad guys or something. I don't know.
Are they going to have Krypton the talking dog?
I would imagine so. Probably.
Crypto the talking dog.
Sorry.
Crypto.
There you go. And it's going to be just like Scooby-Doo, except with Crypto.
I don't like the sound of that at all.
I think it's a great idea. I just made the best show ever. I'm gonna scrap Scooby-Doo now. And we're gonna have Clark and gang.
Though Jack Quaid, I guess, is gonna be Superman. So
okay.
There you go. You guys have any other thoughts on that? None.
I mean, I feel like in a couple weeks we're going to be like, well, J.J. Abrams is no longer attached to this project based on the last news we had about J.J. Abrams being attached to these projects. Sure. All fine with me.
Yeah. J.J.'s just dumping out of stuff.
He just affixes his money to things and then maybe has a say into it or not. He's like, you make this. I'm going to put my name. It's mine, but you make it. And if I don't like it, I'm going to change something. And there better be a lens flare somewhere. Okay. And then they do it. Yeah.
Which is really odd because he just said something about like a response to the Superman news, like why he's not directing it. And he just said the same thing that Zack Snyder said. He was like, I don't want to be a part of franchises anymore. I want to do my own thing.
Wonder why.
I can't keep doing remakes of old franchise movies. Literally.
Jesus. Poor JJ. Anyway, moving on. So Batgirl finally got some directors, and it's not the one that we thought it was a few years ago. Apparently the directors of Bad Boys for Life is going to be directing the new Batgirl movie. Listen, in this world of Me Too and the social movements and stuff like that, why are we getting these two to direct a Batgirl film? I mean, we have two Oscar-nominated women that just came off of like huge movies, especially Emerald Fennell. Why are we tapping these two? I mean,
because it's going to be Batgirl for life, man. Be tough.
Yeah, I guess.
Think of all the explosions and wittiness.
Ryan?
Oh, pass.
All right. And that note, moving on.
You don't want female directors to do female blockbusters. It's not like that's ever worked before.
I think it's okay as long as they don't write it too.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic about my joke about the first Wonder Woman, or you're making fun of the second Wonder Woman.
I'm making fun of the second one, technically.
I figured. Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe they're huge DC Batgirl fans. You don't know.
Yeah. I think they pick people who are like blank slates. Like you've got you did a decent job doing a Michael Bay movie without it being Michael Bay. Come do a DC movie without it being a big DC director. So you can just copy paste their style onto your style.
I mean, not to mention Bad Boys is like the highest grossing movie of 2020.
That is a really
There's
low
a
bar.
reason for that. There's a reason for that.
I guess in Matt's defense, that movie did get to finish its theatrical run. And it's like the only highest grossing movie of 2020 that like ran its entirety, maybe other than like Sonic.
Yeah.
Of the best grossing, but yeah, I don't think that counts.
But Birds of Prey didn't even finish theirs, did they? Because they came out in like February.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Jeez, I forgot that was even last year.
Yeah, it's been a long year.
Is it 2022 yet?
We're almost there. About 6 more months.
6 more months.
Yep. Speaking of WB and HBO Max, Dune is going exclusively to theaters. I guess some people pulled some strings, yelled at some people.
Yeah. Legendary said, "Heck no," flipped him the middle word and was like, "No, not this time, my friend. Not this time."
Especially with this
That's
movie.
good. I mean, good for them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they already got kicked in the nuts with Godzilla. They weren't going to let it happen again with Dune. They're like, look how well this movie did in theaters. Look how much money you lost us by putting it on HBO Max. You know, they probably spent way more on Dune than they did on Godzilla. So yeah, no way. Plus, it's good for the theater, so I'm happy about that as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yay.
And if we want Dune 2, it's got to either fairly bomb or perform.
Yeah.
If it fairly bombs, obviously we won't get Dune 2 because we can't have nice things. But let's say it does well. It'll be because it's in theaters, not on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Then we'll get Dune 2. Just like we'll get the next Blade Runner.
Well, I mean, a lot of things are opening up, right? So masks are going to be a thing of the past here pretty soon. So
yeah, in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
What state are you guys in? I haven't worn a mask in like a year.
Like real talk though, like this Dune movie, like it's going to be strictly for theaters. How hard of a sell is it going to be for like a large demographic of audience? Like, is this? I'm trying to think. Is this? I mean, obviously people went and saw Avatar, but is this going to look more like The Arrival?
Well, that's what I was saying with Blade Runner. Is it's kind of, if it's got to do well, it's going to do well in theaters because if it's not all together in theaters, anybody who's not sure isn't going to rush out and see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I think Blade Runner, what was it, 2049, 2047? It's a beautiful film. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a good movie. But yeah, I think I see your point, Matt, where it was a hard sell for people to actually go see it because it's very futuristic and very sci-fi. And I think Dune is not as popular as like Star Wars, Star Trek, you know, those big sci-fi fantasies. I mean, look at Battlefield Earth, like that bombed horribly. So
John Carter, baby. Remember John Carter?
I try not to.
But you'll remember Battlefield Earth?
Yeah.
Well, at least John Carter was like mediocre. Battlefield Earth was really bad.
Wait, is Dave Bautista in Dune?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait. Yes.
And he's also in Blade Runner, man. And he's Drax, man. He's the king of sci-fi. Put him in all these science fiction movies. And my spy sci-fi.
I think you mentioned My Spy last week too.
I did.
Yes.
It's because I mentioned Dave Bautista is the greatest actor of all time.
I think
Sorry,
you
Rob.
really just can't wait for My Spy 2.
If only I had the poster right here. Just my spy.
He's gonna be watching you all the time.
My spy in space. The best of both worlds.
All right.
I think no, I think you have a good point though. I mean, I don't know. Dune is a hard sell. I think they should put it on HBO Max, and 30 minutes in, there's like an ad that's like, you got to go see it in theaters now. You got to go see the rest of it in theaters.
There you go, like an extended sneak peek, man. That leaves on a cliffhanger.
Now that you're actually enjoying this on your couch, get up and go watch it in theaters.
Don't be lazy. Get up.
Why does this remind me? I don't know if we've talked about this. This reminds me of an April Fool's Day joke the Cartoon Network pulled, and they were like, "This on this day," which obviously it ended up being April Fool's Day. They're like, "On April 1st, we're going to show." This is it was when the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie was coming out in theaters. They're like, "We're going to premiere the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie on our channel for free," and they advertised this for like 2 weeks. So April 1st runs around and the time comes up, and then they put the Aqua Teen Hunger Force in like a little corner of the screen, just like a little picture right in the corner, like no sound or anything, just like the movie, just playing right there in the corner, all low quality and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good times. It's a good film, that Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie. Check it out
If you dare.
if you dare.
So the last bit of WB news, Warner Brothers Media is merging with Discovery. I guess AT&T is merging WarnerMedia with Discovery Inc. to create a new company under a new name, yet to be revealed. This is coming from Screen Rant, by the way. The deal will put WarnerMedia's subsidiaries, including Warner Brothers Pictures, HBO Max, DC Films, and networks like CNN, TBS, under the same umbrella as Discovery. Brands like HGTV, Animal Planet, Food Network, and of course Discovery Channel.
They just started their streaming service, and now they're going to merge everything together. Or no, they're just going to double dip.
Probably double dip, I would imagine. Either we'll see Property Brothers on HBO Max here pretty soon.
Yeah.
But this was for $85.4 billion. Cool.
I mean, that's a lot of content. That's a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah, man. That's a lot of stuff.
Mm.
What do you guys think?
Well, everything, the bigger fish keep eating the littler fish, making bigger fish. So I feel like there's not a lot more merging left, but who knows?
So you say that, but it's like that blows me away that Discovery is bigger than Warner Brothers Media.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they got like 10 channels or 12 channels. They got a lot of channels.
Wow.
And they pay Oprah. She has her own network.
Yeah. Ew. Okay. Let's see. This one's for Maddie. Snake Eyes trailer.
I'm gonna watch it like Snake Eyes would. My eyes closed.
Oh, come on. Henry Golding is Snake Eyes?
I'm good, man. No.
You good?
Yeah, man. Unless I got some Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Cobra Commander, I'm good.
Cobra Commander.
There's no Channing Tatum in this. I can't handle it.
But what if we told you The Rock was going to be in the sequel already?
I mean, yeah, that's a better sell, man. As long as he's playing Snake Eyes.
Who's in this cast?
Ninja Rock.
Oh, Samara Weaving's in this cast. Did you know that?
All right. Okay, you just sold it, man. I didn't even know that.
There you go.
Who did she play? She was like, I was about to say Scarlet.
Yep.
Man, I gotta look up a picture of this. What's this look like? Is she in the trailer? You said it was out already?
Yes, the trailer is out. I believe she is in the trailer.
Huh. Dang it, man. Clint, you made it so I can't completely hate this movie. I mean, I can completely hate this movie.
You could.
Yeah.
So Yeah, let's see if we can find a picture of her. I'm sure there's one out here somewhere.
I'm getting
There she
pictures
is.
of Ready or Not.
Oh, that's in from Entertainment Weekly. All right, I'm going to share this with you guys.
All
our
right,
viewers.
media.
And our viewers. Yay! Sorry for people who was listening at home. There she is.
Okay,
Not
that's
bad.
as what I would have expected.
I'm just looking at your tabs.
Why are you looking at my stuff? Just kidding.
Cuties. I'm just kidding.
There he is. There's Henry Golding as Snake Eyes. Though he talks in this movie. I thought he didn't supposed to talk.
Yeah,
No, you can't have a protagonist that doesn't talk. That's why we don't have a live action Zelda movie.
Link not talk? That's kind of gross. Yep. I'm not sure who this lady is. That's the Baroness, but I'm not sure who the actress is.
Is it Sarah Palin?
Ursula Corbaro?
They just made that up. There's no way that's somebody's name.
And the poster. There we go. Henry Golding, Snake Eyes. Yay! G.I. Joe Origins. Because this is what we needed.
Well,
It works really well for X-Men.
Yeah, and we needed it so much they keep pushing it up.
Yeah. July 23rd, people. Only in theaters.
That's not a good release date.
It's not?
Late July does not typically hold up that well, does it?
Maybe
a good first week run, and then it kind of drops off as soon as it gets to August.
No, the first couple weeks of August do really well typically. Usually that's I think where the Guardians movies dropped. I think were the first week of August.
Didn't that also kill Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
And Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. I know that middle of July works. It worked really well for The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That's true. I guess maybe that's where it actually depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Good for you, audiences in July and August.
It actually depends on the movie. So, doesn't bode well for Snake Eyes. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, there was some first look of the new Masters of the Universe by Kevin Smith. Did you guys see this stuff? I think I posted it. Yeah, man. It's by, what was it? The same people that animate Castlevania, actually.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Really sorry, you said that, and I was thinking about the movie, like live action version. I forgot you posted about the cartoon. Yeah.
Yes. New animated series, looking pretty good. I guess this is going to be a sequel series. It's not going to be like one of those remakes, reboots, anything else like that. I guess Kevin Smith.
So he's going to be like a washed up He-Man who's been through it all, and he's like has to reclaim his glory.
Old man He-Man.
Castle Grayskull is going to be all run down and stuff.
Or he's just going to be a clerk somewhere.
He has to get a job. Skeletor's dead. He has nothing to do.
Oh.
His pet tiger died. He has no animal now.
Not Battle Cat.
Battle Cat. I was like, what is that thing's name? I forgot. It was Battle Cat. Was it? Doesn't he have like, that's his like He-Man name though? Doesn't he have like, because He-Man is Prince
Adam of Eternia.
Yeah, and then Battle Cat has like, I think a different name too before he's Battle Cat. Is it just Cat?
I miss Alex.
Why?
I feel so young.
Oh,
come on. You know you're going to watch this.
I have no attachment to this whatsoever.
Ryan, did you ever have action figures as a child?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
They were all from Star Wars.
Okay. But like prequel Star Wars figures, right?
No, thank you very much. I I have a healthy blend. Had a healthy blend. I want to talk about something else now.
Wow.
It's okay, man. Own your collection. It's fine.
Yeah, man.
It's fine.
My Attack of the Clones set was my biggest set. I'll admit that. But my Revenge of the Sith set was the smallest set until the new ones. So I've got like an original pilot Luke.
Oh my gosh.
So stiff arms and all.
Sorry, I just found Battle Cat's name.
It's very underwhelming, isn't it? It's like ham bone.
It's Cringer.
Oh, that's right, Cringer, because he was so scared.
Cringer.
That was that's like the trope of like 80s cartoons, like a really scared like little sidekick who gets tough.
Yeah.
Oh, poor
Due to
Cringer.
magic.
He's no Snarf.
Snarf.
Snarf?
Thundercats. Never mind.
You made that.
Moving on. I swear we didn't. I swear.
That's nice.
You have Hulu? You should watch the Thundercats remake. Snarf's on there too.
He says Snarf all the time.
Yep.
Snarf.
Snarf. I think we broke Brian.
Yeah, it's okay.
There
This
he
is why Alex didn't show up, because he didn't want to listen to us talk about 80s cartoons.
Well, he's missing out. That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say. All right. So Sonic 2 wrap production. The only reason why
Jesus.
the only reason why I put this in there was like, didn't we just start production last week? I feel like it was-
That is a really quick turnaround.
I would say it was like
At
a month
least
ago.
it sounds like these people were at least working. Yeah, they were working during quarantine.
Yeah.
So I guess they were locked and loaded and ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least-
I mean, I don't know, productions. I feel like we've had a couple of big productions that have done it in a month. Good job.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we were talking about Promising Young Woman a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But like, I also found out Minari, they did it in like 25 days, and I'm like, good job. That's a good shooting schedule.
But none of those
Yeah,
films
right?
have a CGI hedgehog running around.
That's true. Yeah. So filming, yeah, that is an interesting point. I wonder if it's just they didn't do anything physical on set. They were just like, pretend there's a hedgehog there. We'll fix it later.
Yeah. They just have what's his face, James Gunn's brother, in a little suit, just walking around,
Sean Gunn. Yeah.
pretending. Yeah, Sean Gunn. There we go. He's acting like he's Sonic.
That's way quick. Like I was like, wow, I thought we just started this last week, but like you said, probably because of quarantine and everything. Oh well. So we got some sad news. 2 bits of sad news.
No.
Charles Grodin.
Yeah, I watched those movies too.
Did you? Heartbreak Kid and Beethoven.
Don't say it. Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin.
I thought you meant the sad news were the reviews this week.
Oh, well, yeah. Charles Grodin has passed away. He's probably best known as the dad in Beethoven. Mr. Grodin was...
Yeah, who's going to take care of Beethoven now?
I don't know.
Pretty sure Beethoven's been dead.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah. I believe that Mr. Grodin has died of cancer, I want to say. But I think he was also 89, so he was up
Two
there.
things. One, dang, I didn't realize he was that old. And two, I honestly thought he was dead already. And three, I really enjoy this horrible movie that he's in, Clifford. It's so great and so horrible at the same time, starring him and Martin Short. And Martin Short plays this little small kid who's like, it's kind of like Problem Child, except Martin Short is the kid and it's really weird. And Charles Grodin is the dad. And he really wants to go to like Dinosaur World. It's really funny. I think you should check it out. You'd probably hate it, but it's one of my favorite films.
Okay.
2 things.
Okay.
I haven't seen Beethoven. That doesn't sound good. And you said 3 things instead of 2 things.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Get your numbers right. What do you want to
but
make customers?
did I not say 3 things or did I say 2 things?
You said 3 things.
But I
You
said,
said
only 2.
2 things.
Oh,
3.
okay. Well, 4 things. I meant Fourth. Thanks.
Now you're. Well, yeah, you've done a good job now. Actually, hoping to catch you off guard there.
Yeah.
I don't think Charles Grodin has done any movies since like the mid '90s anyway.
Probably.
So, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Also, Mr. Paul Mooney has died. I believe that he was a writer, comedian for Richard Pryor. It looks like that he played Sam Cooke in the Buddy Holly story. He was an African-American comedian. So,
all right,
trailblazer.
now two things. He was really funny on the Chappelle Show. If you guys haven't seen it, watch the Chappelle Show. Hilarious.
Okay.
And two, I thought he was already dead too. So
Jesus.
These people, man, I get right in my heart, and then I just get surprised all over again.
Now you gotta kind of like grief again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh well.
Dang.
Rip Mr. Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's the news. Unless you guys got anything else.
Let's take a look, shall we? If anyone cares news on the sports front, I can't watch game. I can't watch the game that I want to because the Capitals and Bruins are in overtime. And they won't switch over till that game's over. So there's that.
There's that.
Which also could be why Alex is not here today.
What? Alex?
I don't know.
Alex isn't here?
Jeez.
Let's see. This news that Dave Bautista, which I haven't brought up today enough, turned down the Fast and Furious movies to pitch a Gears of War movie. Didn't know if anybody was interested in that. He was actually going to be Don's brother, but instead they got John Cena because that made more sense.
Good for him. He can do better.
Yeah.
Yes, he can.
John Boyega's coming back for Attack on the Block 2. Everybody excited for that. The movie's my jam. Super fun. And he's got a job now.
I will admit that I've actually not seen Attack on the Block.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have either, Ryan? Oh, man.
Should watch
It's on my never-ending list.
Attack the Block. Check it out. And I'm just happy John Boyega's got a job, that he has not been, dare I say, blacklisted, that they're still giving him work.
It's on Tubi. Maybe you should watch this.
You should watch it.
It's free.
A bunch of people joined Knives Out 2 again, I guess, but good for them.
Everybody's joining Knives Out.
Leslie Odom.
Yeah. At this point, I feel like we're going to start hearing. Yeah. At this point, I feel like we're going to hear people joining Knives Out 3. Like,
right.
All right, guys.
Gonna book the second one and gotta spill over into the third one.
Like, man, we got too many people. We can't put them all in the second one now. We'll just put them in the third one.
Sorry, I can't get your reservation at 6:30. Can I get you next Saturday?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I think. And we didn't mention the Enola Holmes sequel is greenlit and it's going to happen. So, celebration.
There was a reason for that.
I can't wait for Millie Bobby Brown to talk to me. Breaking that fourth wall.
I was like, is she going to call you? Like, what is...
No. She looks at the screen and she's like, something clever. And you're like,
hey,
oh,
man.
you're talking. Yeah, you're like, oh man, you're talking directly to me. That's crazy. Now go solve that crime.
Yeah, right. All right. Any more news?
Nope.
No more news. That was the news. Okay, so I figured that we would start with the worst, in my opinion. So you guys are just gonna have to go along with this, and then work our way to Invincible, which obviously is the best out of the three things that we're gonna review tonight. So we're gonna start with Woman in the Window.
I thought that was the best. What are you talking about?
As I said, I make the rules. You just
It's
come
like
along
golf
with
where the least score is the best, right?
Yeah, that's why I gave it a 10.
the ride. Lies. So, Woman in the Window, starring Amy Adams and directed by Joe Wright. As we've talked, yeah. So as we talked a couple weeks ago, he has some varying projects that he puts out, and this is probably one of his low bar ones. So Women in the Window stars Amy Adams, and she plays Anna Fox, who is a child psychologist that has a trauma happen to her, and where she becomes agoraphobic, and then in a twist of fate, in her she starts watching the people across the street and witnesses a murder. Yeah. So go ahead, Ryan.
I wasn't going to start my review part, or my review. I did some looking into why this movie was so bad, which I'm just going to get out there. Because I was watching it and I was like, this feels like fantastic. And it's disjointed, sloppy, everything. And apparently it had like the worst post-production, which did include reshoots and rewrites. And at one point, neither the director nor the original writer were involved. So as much as Joe Wright his name is like on the forefront, he apparently didn't have any say in the final product after Disney acquired Fox and then sold it off to Netflix. And the writer for this film is a rookie with acting credits.
Really? Wow.
He's done like 2 other projects that are not big whatsoever.
Hashtag release the right cut.
The right cut. That's a good, yeah.
See? Like that? So let's get into the review of this. This was like 3 movies in one. This was very disconjointed. The editing was really atrocious. The pacing of this was really kind of off as well. Like it just didn't seem like you could tell that there was a lot more story that they were trying to get out, but then it was like, we're at an hour and some change. We need to end this. So we're going to end it right now. There was like this quasi type of ending before the actual third act of the movie that was just kind of weird. I would give Amy Adams some props to this because it's like you could tell that she was trying. At points, there's other times there was just kind of like she just seemed really weird. I will say that I didn't care at all about any of these characters until like 15 minutes before the movie ended. And even then it was just like this quasi like, well, she's supposed to be the heroine, I guess I should care type of and I think there was a better film in here somewhere. Because I did read the book, and I'm not trying to compare it to the book, but I think the whole premise of like the film noir, the Hitchcockian feel, like the book lays into that really heavily, and I think that this movie probably would have done a lot better if they kind of like pushed that a little harder, and not this like the kid, the Ethan, the son was like there for like 10 minutes out of the whole movie. You don't really understand like what happens to like her, to this trauma that she has, and we'll talk spoilers if we want to a little bit later. Until like even close to the third act of this movie. And I think that's the reason why you didn't care, is because like you don't really kind of understand like her trauma until like the very end. And that's why I kind of don't really care like what happened. And then like Gary Oldman, he was just like he was very over the top for literally no reason. Like he was very upset like all the way through this movie. And you don't really know why, but he's very upset.
I think what you mean to say is there might have been a problem with the direction of this film.
Probably.
I don't know if that's editing as much as them saying, "Hey man, why don't you calm down a little bit?"
Well, I'm gonna put it. I think he's going for a very 50s performance because it feels like a cheesy movie villain that's definitely not the villain at the end kind of performance. It just the film doesn't stick with that, and he does.
To be honest, I give this a 3. If that, yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 3. Just because I mean, because when it does like embrace its Hitchcockiness, I think that it was like those very few, very slim parts of the movie. It does well when it embraces that. And like you said, the Italian expressionist, I think it does well with that. But as soon as it derives from that or like divots from that, it was really bad.
All right.
Yeah.
I concur with you, sir. You didn't say much positives though. The only positive that I can say, and I just made fun of the direction, but some of the camera work in this movie, especially on the interior of this apartment, I thought was really smooth and really nice and really worked well. It's just the writing of the plot and the acting made all of that not matter. I felt you've got Amy Adams, you got Julianne Moore, who albeit is only in, 10 minutes of this movie. You got Gary Oldman, you got Wyatt Russell, who I'm starting to wonder about his range because I feel like I'm not getting a lot in these. I mean, we really liked him in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but come on, man. Show me some depth, sir.
Yeah.
Then speaking of which, you got Anthony Mackie too. Come on now. We're having a reunion here. And then Jennifer Jason Leigh, who I didn't even recognize. What happened to her? I'm like, who is this woman? And then I'm looking at the credits and I'm like, what? That's Jennifer Jason Leigh? Are you kidding me? So I don't know. The third act of this film, and I'm not going to talk about it, makes this movie incredibly laughable. It's way over the top and doesn't fit in with the rest of the movie the way it's shot. Looks absolutely atrocious. I'm wondering if that's what they re-edited, because that whole rain sequence looked bad, like so bad. It doesn't fit in. Both these movies that we watched this week, I had moments where I'm just laughing and there's nothing funny happening in the movie. It's just ridiculous what I'm seeing. Like I said, the camera work at the beginning towards the middle is good. Then this film goes off the rails, and I totally agree with you. I think if it embraced its Hitchcockiness, which is the weirdest word ever, I think they might have had something better there. But Jesus Christ, that third act made me lose my mind. So I concur. I was, teetering on a 4 here, but honestly, and Amy Adams is okay. Like when she's got that Hitchcockian thing going on, it's okay. It's not her fault the movie turns into what it turns into. She just is playing with what she has. And also, sad thing is, props to that kid who I don't even know his name, the Ethan kid, who I'm not going to say spoiler or anything, but he's literally the only person who has anything to work with in this movie. So he went all in for it. Of course, I'm going to be laughing all the way to the end of this film because of it, but props to him. So yeah, for me, I'm giving it also a 3 out of 10. I have definitely seen worse, but not a lot.
Yeah, this is teetering on that.
I'm going to go ahead and drop my rating, or drop a 2 out of 10 for me.
That's called a deuce, my friend.
Yeah, so here's what makes mine a point lower for me. I agree with everything all of you guys said. I want to give credit to that style early on. There was so much I liked in the first 25 minutes of it. We were texting a lot about it. I was like, the camera work, the framing. I love the playing of the different rooms in the same shot, frames within frames, dividing the camera. A lot of really visually interesting stuff. Even the editing, which is really inconsistent, has some really interesting moments. We were talking about Italian experimental. There's a lot of that. Lighting, color, all of this was so great in the first 25 minutes. And Danny Elfman, being a last-minute replacement composer, did a really great job.
Mhm.
So I want to give it points for all those things. Instead, I'm going to take them away for them not using any of them whatsoever and turning into just a stupid, freaking trippy psychological thriller with the worst acting I've seen from Amy Adams right in the middle of it. And then tripping and falling, stumbling down the stairs into a horror thriller.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, I really didn't think it was this bad until I was reviewing it, but it felt like the 2015 Fantastic, where I was like, I'm enjoying this movie. What's going on? How did we get here? Oh, this is the worst finale I've ever seen in my life. And it felt beat for beat like that. And I was like, studio meddling happened here, reshoots happened here, nobody cared here.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what I felt like it. And it was just such a waste of a well put together movie by the first act that I hated it more by the end. I haven't even brought myself to actually listening to the soundtrack outside of the film because I just don't have it in me to like something about it right now. So 2 out of 10, would not recommend.
No, I wouldn't recommend this either.
This is not a $5 Tuesday full price movie, Redbox or borrow. Don't waste
This
your
is
time.
this is
Yeah.
a don't watch free on Netflix.
Yeah.
This is if you
Skip
need
it.
some help going to sleep or you want to get completely frustrated film. Watch this.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I had something nice to say about it. Nope.
Nope. Okay. Well, let's do spoilers then, real quick.
Okay.
Good. Somebody explain to me what happens.
Okay, so let's spoil the plot because so she gets in a car accident with her family. Her family dies. She's apparently stranded.
Which was like the most obvious twist. I'm like, oh, she's having all these conversations with somebody we don't see. Oh, they're dead. Anyway, continue.
This is where I'm going to compare. This is where I'm going to compare the movie to the book because with the book, you have these. Obviously, you can't see her, and you kind of like imagine that she's having these conversations and everything on the phone, and she's talking to her obviously dead husband and her child or whatever, and she's doing this. And you're reading this, and you're like, oh, they're still alive. And then you get to the point in the book, and you're like, holy crap, they're actually dead. But see, with the movie, like as soon. With every movie, if you don't see who she's talking to and she had a trauma and you don't physically see them on the other end of that phone, they're dead. They're always dead. I hate to break it to you people, they're always dead. And when they get to that, you're like, yeah, we know. Why are we rehashing this? We could have said this at the beginning of the movie and it'd just be done. The whole twist with the kid, like that was just that came out of left field.
Is that in the book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but his reasonings are different in the book because he was upset with Julianne Moore, her character, about leaving him. So like that whole plot is right, but I think in this one, doesn't he say that he just wants to see people die for some reason?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really bizarre.
My eyes were watching, but something up here short-circuited when it was happening, and I don't have a clue. I distinctly remember going like this
It's called
for about 10 minutes.
You might want to go to the hospital. I'm pretty sure you might have had a stroke.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's Joe Wright's fault.
Yeah. Some little aneurysm popped. But yeah, but the movie doesn't set that up very well. Like I was saying before, like you get 10 minutes with this kid. In the book, like she kind of like builds this relationship with the kid, and like you kind of like start to feel sympathy for this kid, and you know that there's something a little off about this kid, but you're not really sure like what is off with this kid. But with the movie, like if you're gonna set up a surprise ending like that twist ending where it's the kid all along, you have to kind of like build that relationship, and they don't do this in this movie. Like you kind of like see this kid and you're like, cool, he's a little weird, whatever, and you kind of like forget him. And I don't know if that's like on purpose, but I felt that it kind of like hindered this movie because it's like if she builds this kid like that friendship with this kid and they have like these conversations and everything, and then you get to that ending where he's the killer the whole time, you're like, oh crap, okay, now I can see this. Like it kind of is a little bit more impactful, but this was just like, oh, by the way, remember this kid? Here he is.
He's been hiding in the house the whole time. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's a ninja. He wears his hoodie up when he's evil. It's only, I couldn't stand it, man. It just looks so bad and so corny. I'm like, this is like some hamming it up, Scream style ending. What is going on here? This is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, they went to the roof. It's all raining. Why do they have to make it rain? Is it raining in the book? It looked like garbage. That's all. Looks so bad.
I don't remember. Yeah. But see, and like even Wyatt Russell's character, I think, was beefed up because of his status going into this, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the reshoots came in.
Gotcha. I told Jeannie to watch it because I thought she might enjoy that little clever twist at the end, but she turned it off because she was afraid the cat would die. Which, oddly enough, the cat doesn't die.
Yeah.
In this film.
I forgot there was a cat in it.
Yeah. Somehow manages to get downstairs magically. I don't understand, but
oh yeah.
Hey, remember that scene, really weird scene in the movie where they parked a car inside the apartment and had it snow?
Oh yeah, the coffin scene.
The explanation of why she's had her trauma. Yeah.
I'm like, did you guys really pull a car onto this set and make it look like a crash and have snow drifting down? It was the campiest, corniest looking thing I've ever seen. So bad.
I like the part where she's trying to convince everybody that this happened, and I'm like, well, we as the audience aren't stupid. Couldn't this woman have lied about her identity? And she's like, no, it was this person. And I'm like, everyone else is against her. And I'm like, yeah, but movies like to tell us that we're on the side of the protagonist who's always in the minority. But like, she's not a smart character at all. She's like, I have proof. And I'm like, yeah, they all know it's stupid, but we as the audience also know it's stupid.
Yeah, I think to your point, Ryan, it's just like that's what I mean. It's like, I don't care. Like I'm an hour into this movie and she's yelling at all these people. Like I felt that like the screenwriter or the director or something probably should have built up to where we cared, like for her, like hey, like she's not crazy. Maybe we should kind of believe her. But I'm like sitting here watching this movie like, yeah, you're a little nuts, lady. You're a little nuts. And that's another thing in these thriller horror movies. Like if she doesn't like confirm that yes, I am so and so, she's not that person. She never is. Movies 101, people. Anyway, any more thoughts on The Woman in the Window?
No, we've got one more bad movie to get through.
Yeah, one more bad movie. Which is Those Who Wish Me Dead, starring Angelina Jolie. I can't even remember. Nicholas Hoult is in this movie, by the way. Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
Adrian, what's his name? Adrian?
Aidan Gillen.
Aidan Gillen. Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it. Okay.
John Berthel.
Yeah, Berthel.
Mr. Punisher.
Yes, the Punisher himself.
Or Shane, depending on if you watch Walking Dead or not.
I'm going to go with Punisher.
Okay.
Prefer him in that show anyway. So, Those Who Wish Me Dead is about Angelina Jolie. She's a smoke jumper in Montana, which oddly looked enough like New Mexico, but whatever.
Shot in New Mexico.
That's probably why. So she's a smoke jumper that has another woman in the movie with a trauma that has to save a kid from hired guns. And the forest is burning down, apparently. So let me just start off by saying I thought this was better than Woman in the Window by like 3 points. 2 points. I give it
3%.
Not to make it fresh, but at least it was better. I also thought that this movie was shot in the wrong decade. Like, did anybody else get like 90s?
We keep having these. We had Little Things, which was just a 90s movie. Then we had Without Remorse. I remember the title this time, which was just a 90s movie. Now we have this, which is just a 90s movie.
I don't know if this is nostalgia or like what the deal, but I could have swore like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or Bruce Willis is gonna like pop into this movie and be like, I can save the kid. Cool.
Tell you, man, you have to get a girl, and it's got to be Bridget Fonda.
It's true. There's not really much to say about this movie. Like, to be honest with you, like I just think it was made in the wrong decade. Like she was fine, the kid was fine. Aidan Gillian was fine. I mean, John Berthel is not in the movie long enough to actually form an opinion. I honestly thought that he was going to turn out to be the bad guy just because of his typecasting.
It wasn't Guy Pearce, man.
That's true.
What do you mean? Guy Pearce plays bad guys?
I think we've covered this.
I think we covered it last week about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. They're all fine, except I think my only problem with this movie is two things. One, it's boring until about an hour and 6 minutes into this movie. I have no idea why she's there, like what the deal is. There's no fire yet. And they're just kind of like hanging out and they're trying to find this kid. And it's like, it's an hour and 6 minutes of an hour and 40-minute movie. There's got to be something else that happens in this movie. And two, like I just said, like the fire, like I thought this was supposed to be like the big thing of this movie, and it doesn't really even happen until like middle of the second act.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah. So 5. It was fine.
5. I think the biggest disappointment of this movie is who it came from, Mr. Taylor Sheridan. I think we've gotten so accustomed to him having actual deep characters and like character interactions and relationships that actually mean something. And then you get a film like this, who albeit is based on a book, but it almost seems like, I haven't read the book. Did you read this book, Clint? I don't know if the characters are deeper in the book. I'm assuming they are, but it almost feels like he kind of phoned it in with this. One thing, and this is just me, and I mentioned it before, I don't think the casting of Angelina Jolie works in this movie for some reason. I just don't see it. I don't know if it's the high cheekbones, the Botox, non-Botox lips as a a rugged smoke jumper, just doesn't quite fly with me. It's almost weird. And I had this thought. I was like, you know what? I gave who's the new Tomb Raider? Who's the new Tomb Raider? What's her name?
Vikander.
Oh, at least Vikander. Yeah, at least
Vikander. I was always like, I always give her crap for not being a tough enough Tomb Raider, but I was like, and I'm like, Angelina Jolie was a good Tomb Raider. But in this case, I almost think Alicia Vikander would have been a better cast in this role. Like I'm like, wow, she actually, I think, would have fit a lot better than Miss Jolie. That said, this plot is ridiculous. The story, the characters are dumb. None of it makes sense. They don't tell you anything. The climax is I don't understand how more people didn't die in this movie. And these hitmen are the most inept, dumb hitmen I've ever seen in my life. It's fun, I guess, if you're looking for a 90s film, like one of those films. I won't say to avoid it because, it does have slight entertainment value to it, but not enough for me to warrant anything higher than like a 4 out of 10. Just because like it's so bad plot wise, and we'll talk. I don't want to spoil any of that now. I just want to say that, and I will go on my rant once we get to spoilers. So
there's spoilers to be had.
Yeah, well, not really, because they don't tell you anything in this film.
Yeah.
So I also looked this one up a little bit. This was also a bit of a production nightmare, turns out. Sheridan was brought in to rewrite this film. He didn't want anything to do with it, and then he agreed to help to work on the rewrite and direct if Angelina Jolie would be in it.
Oh.
Which makes sense, because it's so obviously not written for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad because this is the second film in the last couple weeks that we've picked on Sheridan for coming in and trying to fix. But Matt, you're right. I mean, as far as blame goes, it looks like he didn't put any work into it. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was like, I'm here for a paycheck, and I don't blame him. I'm with you 100% of the way. I have it as a 4. It's not bad enough for me to give it a 3. It's not good enough for me to care about it. Nothing in this movie worked for me. Nothing. There wasn't any. There wasn't so little that was like, oh, that's terrible. Just nothing worked for me. Except maybe the bad guys, who are the villains are just terrible. I didn't understand at one point when Nicholas Holt's like, oh, she has a baby, and then he's like the big bad like by the end of the movie, and I'm like, I don't understand what's happening with this character at all. My biggest thing for me is, if you wanted to watch this movie, if you're like, I really, really want to watch a Hollywood veteran take care of a kid running from people with guns because they need this in their life. This came out a couple months ago with Liam Neeson, and it was better. It's called The Marksman. You can watch it on Vudu or on.
But is there fire?
Redbox.
Is there fire, Ryan?
There's car flips and actual excitement, and it's dumb. It's cheesy. But if you're gonna watch a '90s movie, watch the cheesier, fun one. This one is just not interesting. Nothing worked for me. I mean, Clint, like you said, some of the performances were fine. I thought John Bernthal was very good for his limited screen time. You can tell he's worked with Sheridan before, so I think that was probably another last minute, like, oh, I kind of wanted nothing to do with this, but if you're going to do it, I'll do it with you. Kind of.
Well, that's like his typecast. Like, if you're typecasting a cop, you get
John
Mr.
Bernthal.
Yeah,
and he seems okay doing smaller roles too, because he's got a really small role in Sicario. It's not like he was an unknown when Sicario came out, but he makes the best of that role too. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm with you guys. It's just nothing there.
Yeah, I think Berthel does a good job in Wind River too. I really liked Wind River. Another Sheridan movie.
I forgot he was in Wind River.
Yeah.
Spoilers: John Bernthal's in it, actually.
Sorry. Speaking of spoilers, just I guess spoil this movie.
They die. The bad guys die. Spoiled.
Oh.
Tyler Perry's in it.
Oh my God, Tyler Perry's in it. He's the big bad. See him in Now You, or Those Who Want Me Dead 2, or Those Who Want Me Deader.
Yeah, like
Those
I'm
who
with
really
you, Matt.
want
Like,
me
what was the deal with this? Like, he just shows up. He's like, "Hey, are you in New Mexico? Yeah, all right. Let's have a few lines." Cool.
Yeah, he doesn't leave Atlanta. What's he doing in New Mexico?
I don't know. It's so weird. Like that whole interaction was so weird. Like all I got out of that was like he was some government person.
Yeah, that's all. Well, obviously the whole movie is basically the connection between Angelina Jolie and this kid and the chemistry that they have together. And now that she's probably going to adopt him after all this and be his mom. Because they had such great chemistry in this film, which, spoiler alert, they didn't. It was a very weird interaction the entire time. My issue with this movie is, first, if there is a secret this big and somebody is going to get in trouble and you've got to murder people, why don't you get two teams to murder these people? In the day and age of the internet, why do you send only one group of hitmen to blow up a house, not assassinate, mind you, blow up in a house so it's all on the news so that the next guy can see it? Either A, send two teams, or B, do it silently and then sneak up on the other guy. Duh, it's simple. Two, we never know what's on that note. It's really annoying because apparently it doesn't matter. It's just a secret that can bring people down. So screw that. That note probably got burnt up in the fire anyway or washed away in the water. So no one's going to get in trouble anyway. 2 or 3, these are the worst hitman ever. Okay, so you're chasing down some dude and you're like, oh man, we got to assassinate him. We know where he's going. How should we shoot him? I don't know. Climb up on a hill, park my car and shoot him as he drives down the road and then be surprised when he tries to escape and runs me over and then runs off a hill. And then what do you not do? Go and check to make sure he's dead. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Let alone the fact that they decided to climb trees when that lady's in the watchtower and they want to see what he's doing. What are you doing climbing a tree? Why are you both in the same tree anyway? Shouldn't you be at different angles? What are you doing?
I definitely fell asleep then. I don't remember anybody climbing trees.
Oh, they climbed trees. Yeah. And then they shot out that fire tower. Also,
I do remember that.
How
I just thought they weren't in trees.
How did those two people survive that huge forest fire? Sitting outside of the little tower. They weren't even inside the tower, mind you. They were outside of the tower while the fire is raging around them. And the tower is the most impervious thing ever. Doesn't catch on fire. They should both be dead. I don't know how they lived, or at least one of them lived. Spoiler. Also, the best enemy in this whole movie, electricity. I have never seen such aggressive lightning in my entire life. Talking about lightning blowing up her fire tower, shutting everything off, how conventionally, and then them having to run through a field while lightning is trying to assassinate them. It's like M. Night Shyamalan created this lightning. I thought I was watching The Happening. The nature was coming after them to kill them, and all they could do was run. Run. Such a dumb movie. I can't stand it. But it was slightly entertaining because it had action in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm good.
Cool.
Team Little Beast.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Mhm.
I think that's the one thing that I was kind of like disappointed with is like if you're Nicholas Hoult, I love Nicholas Hoult. I like most of the things that he's in. But if you're gonna pick a film where you're the bad guy and you want to change your image, let's pick something better. This was horrible. Like you said, like some of the decisions that these two make. And I think he even like doesn't Aidan Gillian even say like halfway through the movie is like there should have been two teams.
No, he does, because they call out whenever there's like dumbass plot points in the movie. They actually say them. And then they're like, okay, it's fine because you mentioned it. You understand it's there. I'm like, no.
I wonder if Sheridan was like, man, there should have been two teams. Let me write that in, turn it into a producer and be like, yo, read over this for me. And they're like, oh, I love this writing for the bad guys. No, it's meant for you.
Yeah.
And on top of that, obviously there's internet. Why doesn't this guy forward this list of secrets to every news station he has if he thinks people are out to murder him?
Gotta have a MacGuffin.
Swear to God. Stupid movie.
Well, I think the bigger question is not only that, but who's going to believe this kid?
Angelina Jolie. Did you see her face when she read that note? She was like, oh my God, we have to leave now.
Yeah. I think I'm lowering my score. Thank you, Matt.
And I'm assuming this is a thing, like if there's a raging forest fire around you, are you okay to lay on your back in a creek and breathe? Like, are you not going to boil to death? Are you okay? I have so many questions and so little answers.
Well, I think another question is like, it's like they don't really kind of explain her trauma either. Like that was kind of like
Yes,
we don't understand.
People died.
Well, yeah, that one guy gets on fire and he runs around, and then she sees those three like campers in the background, like flames and stuff, and they're like, "This makes me sad."
Well, apparently, I think she says the conclusion I drew was they were trying to put out a fire, and she made a wrong decision, which caused them to not cut off the fire, but instead they got surrounded by the fire, which also surrounded these campers by the fire. And she couldn't get to the campers and they all died. And they were all, I guess, teen boys or whatever. And so she's traumatized by that poor decision that she made that cost the lives of said campers. And now she needs to save the life of this child from fire and guns.
Did you guys see the 2017 movie Only the Brave with Josh Brolin?
I did not. I did.
That's a good firefighter movie. That's a good movie to watch. just a recommendation on a good recent firefighter movie.
And
Backdraft. Also, I laughed so hard before it. Okay, I laughed when the mercenaries leave with the husband, and the lady comes back and she's like, "Oh man, I got to pick a vehicle." And she looks at like the ATV, and she's like, "No." And then she looks at the motorcycle, and she's like, "No." And then she looks at the horse, and she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Really? The horse, of course, it makes logical sense. That is the one thing that actually makes logical sense because it's not loud and it's super quiet and not, not going to give your position away. But I thought it was the funniest thing because I'm like, don't you want to pick the thing that goes the fastest? But no, she went with the quietest thing.
Yeah.
She was okay.
She was I was gonna say, I think she was like the only smart character out of this whole movie.
Literally the only smart character in this film.
So does Berthel not survive this movie? I kind of got the hint that
he's dead.
Kind of.
No. Yeah, because she's like, at the end of the movie, she's like, you take your time, you don't have to call it in. It's not a rush. Because he did, yo.
Bummer.
Yeah. Right. Super dead.
Any more thoughts on Those Who Wish Me Dead?
These hitmen were so stupid. So dumb.
So Matt, who would you say is a stupider or just an overall worse antagonist this weekend? This random kid killing people for no reason, who turned into just a slasher villain, or the worst movie hitman ever?
I can tell you the best antagonist you'd think would be the fire, but it's actually the lightning. Yes. The hitman were more enjoyable because they had more banter. I didn't get any banter with this kid. And then when the kid like goes evil mode and puts his hoodie up, I just couldn't anymore. That was just too much for me. I'm like, really? You're going to turn into like a different person? You're not just going to, your voice is changing too. Awesome. Great. So dumb. These are both dumb. I can't stand both of them. I'm not supposed to laugh at either one of those movies. And I was rolling over laughing by the end of both of them. So whatever. I'm done. What are we watching next week?
Army of the Dead. We got one more review though, because since Alex is not here, I think we should give some thoughts on the first season of Invincible.
Okay.
We did review this like a month or so ago in March, so more than a month ago, about the first 3 episodes. We were kind of divided on the episodes. However, I personally thought that the season got extremely better by episode 5. Episode 4 was just a little weird. I think that was just a loose plot point that they're probably going to like tie up in like season 2 or 3, because this has been reviewed for another 2 seasons. I wasn't surprised by the reveal or the battle at the end of, let's just spoil this because we've already reviewed this. Wasn't surprised by the Omni-Man twist, obviously because it's episode 1 and because you kind of like seen this coming. That last episode was a little brutal though. Like I don't think it was as brutal as the first episode, but like him pushing Invincible through the train was pretty rough. And he just does not give 2 F's about what's going on. But yeah, I thought it was, I would give the season on a whole, I'd probably bump it back up to an 8. Like I think these last few episodes, the last few episodes of the season probably made up for like the first slow parts. So
I'm in agreement with you with an 8. I don't really give out 9s or 10s, but I think an 8's appropriate for me. I'm really happy, and I think I've said this before, that it got renewed. Obviously, Amazon realized that the show's been doing well, and obviously Robert Kirkman knows he's got a bunch more material he can pull from to give. They probably were like, how many more seasons can you give me? He's like, well, at least 2 for right now, probably more. And they're like, all right, we'll do 2 more. You guys know that I really didn't ever lose faith in this series. I was always entertained by every episode that I've had, except for the first one initially before the ball got rolling, which I thought they were, setting it up just so they could broadside you with the ending of that. I feel I get a lot of, we always mention The Boys, but I get a lot of kick-ass vibes from this, just with how brutal it is for the protagonist. And I think that's good. I think that's interesting, and it's going to play out a lot better towards the end. I'm very excited how this world's going to open up, and excited to see some of these reoccurring characters come back. I'm also excited to see Invincible probably get, eviscerated more and more often. It's completely annihilated, because I have a feeling that's going to be the trend going forward. So it was the trend this season. I don't see why I would not stop.
Yeah.
Yes, 8 out of 10.
Right.
Yep. I mean, I agree. I think one. I'm glad we're talking about this, following up all the negativity from the other movies.
Yeah.
It helps to balance it out a little bit. Yeah, I think Matt, we definitely owe you, not. I still stand by the fact
I know
that I
what
did
you
not
mean.
care
Yeah.
too much, but
Yeah, I
you
know
were
what you mean.
totally
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
Clint, I agree with you. This show did really redeem itself. For me, it was even earlier. It's like by episodes 2 and 3, I was totally on board. And it just kept getting better and better. All the supporting cast was so interesting. I don't even want to nitpick into it. There's just really interesting stuff going on. I love the show's consistent ability to do something traditional and change it a little bit. It keeps it really refreshing and often very original, and that's so hard to do. But I was thinking about like some of the abilities of just the supporting characters and some of their backstories, and that's so original for a superhero genre to be doing now.
Right.
And right down to my absolute favorite thing about this show, which is the way they resolve the conflict in the end. You can't. It's like you had options. You could have your protagonist unrealistically punch his way out and want it more and overcome his challenges physically, which wouldn't work. At the realistic setting, they've brought it up. You can't kill him. You can't come and you can't bring in some third party process of eliminating this threat. You just have to have his will break Omni-Man's first. And that's what happens. And he just kind of breaks down and can't do it anymore. And I love that because it still resolves character arc for both characters. And Mark is just not willing to give in on this. And I'm just so great. It's so impactful as to what a superhero is and can be, instead of just being like, oh, it's a negative me, I'm going to fight them, almost lose and win. And he doesn't.
Right.
But, oh, that's so great. And I can't believe how put to good use that extreme violence is by the end of it. But I mean, I'm still not in love with the fact that it's done just to be shocking, but there is definitely intent in bringing that up early on here in the finale. Yeah, really, really great stuff. You can laugh it all the way to the bank. There's still animation issues. So you want me to nitpick?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can tell that the budget wasn't the biggest overall. There's still a couple of those little, like, oh, they're flying, and like the background's kind of moving around, and they're not. And I'm like, that's, the red blur is just kind of like a streak instead of. There's some little things, but I mean, those are.
I feel like I read something. I don't know if it was Kirkman or one of the animators talking about how, that the budget wasn't that high for like a lot of the drawing, and then some of it was rushed. Because they were talking about, I think the logo on Adam Eve's like chest or something, or her logo looks like something that it's supposed to not look like. And they're like, yeah, we didn't really know what we're doing. We're kind of testing it out, and then it stuck like this. And well, we just had to go with it because that's how the design was. But they're like, we're going to fix it in the next one. So I'm sure they're going to get way more money and way more time.
I'm sure.
For the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, a couple of the costumes aren't great, but I kind of thought it played into the intent of these characters don't really know what they're doing yet.
Yeah.
Hers was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, we're in like yoga shorts and a cape. And Rexplode looked like he was ready to go play some laser tag.
Good old Rexplode.
Yeah, I mean, I was texting you, both of you, like during some of these episodes, just like, yeah, Mark has got to get better at fighting. Like, and like you were saying, Ryan, I think that was probably, it sucks to watch him get, beaten like severely, like through most, like some of these episodes, like the one that he's like hired by the, what's his name, Titan or whatever, the crime lord. He becomes a crime lord.
Yeah,
he gets hired by him, and he gets like the beat out of him like a couple times.
Yeah, and that tiger guy too, coming in just like murdering everybody.
Yeah.
Now, where was he? Why didn't he fight Omni-Man? He obviously wants to.
Yeah.
He's there to fight strong people. He's there on Earth fighting people for a challenge.
I don't think he's that dumb. Yeah, I don't think he would have last.
He doesn't want to die. He just wants to fight people and kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure that they're gonna like Amazon is killing these like rated R superhero genres. They're doing well with it, so keep on it, Amazon.
Are they gonna kill our rated R Lord of the Rings genre?
I don't think it's actually gonna be R. I know that was something they were looking at. I don't know if it was a rumor or not, but you do not sink $460-something million into a TVMA series.
Yeah, true that.
Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I know we've like already wrapped up. I love Cecil. What a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a good character.
Mm-hmm.
In Invincible.
Yeah. Wally Goggins.
Yeah. But yeah, what an interesting character. I mean, even early on, I love that he's consistently making weird decisions that most shows would be like, he's a bad guy. And this, I'm like, yeah, he's making bad choices, but he's definitely doing it for shady, albeit good reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the good of mankind.
Yeah. And I love some of the way they wrap up the story arcs early on, where they've got Hellboy.
The demon detective.
Yeah, and they've got him, and he figures it out like right away, and then they like send him back to hell, and he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, you found this out too quickly. We don't know what to do about it yet, so go away." I love that. It's like a complex character decision that you don't get from most shows, where it's not like you're Nick Fury, like, "Oh, well, hang back a little bit, we'll figure it out." It's like, no, I don't want you intervening in this anymore. Thank you for the help. Go back to hell. Yeah.
Speaking of Amazon, I did forget. So we're out of the review part, but I did forget to mention this during our news section. But did you guys hear that Amazon is trying to buy MGM?
I feel like we talked about this.
I know.
No,
MGM,
you posted about it. That's right. We didn't talk about it. You posted about it. Yeah.
Yes.
But they've been for sale though, haven't they?
Yes, they have been for sale. I know that we've talked about that, but I do know that, like I said on the post, Amazon was trying to buy James Bond, the new James Bond, No Time to Die, and then they just decided to buy the whole company instead. So I guess this is like $9 billion or something like this. Pretty small price tag for this.
They're like, it's going to cost us how many $100 million to buy this one movie? And how much to just get the whole catalog? Okay, we'll just do the whole catalog.
Yeah, right.
We'll just do the whole catalog.
That's like in every movie when they're like, you bought the plane, I bought the airline. You bought the house, I bought the bank. And I'm like, why? But I guess there's a reason to it. It's real life, apparently.
Yeah.
You bought the movie, I bought the studio.
Yeah. So bizarre. Whatever.
You bought the X-Men series, I bought an entire company.
Yeah. Lord. Well, whatever.
It's good.
That's it. I mean, you guys have anything else? Oh, coming up next week. Sorry. Next week we are doing Army of the Dead. Unless you guys have anything else that you're going to watch.
Is that? I know it's in theaters right now. Are they throwing it on Netflix, or is it just going to be in theaters?
I thought it was Netflix exclusive, but yes.
No, it's.
You guys are both right. It is a Netflix film. It's getting like a limited theatrical window in like premiere cities. But I was also reading reviews that are saying it's playing in wide release. We don't have it in wide release, so I have to do the flip of when I was seeing all these movies and you guys were watching it on streaming. Now I've got to watch it on Netflix, but I don't know if it's playing there or not.
The only reason I say that is because it was on our booking sheet last week, I think.
Really?
And I was like, oh, I thought that was going to be on Netflix, but apparently they're booking it for theaters. And obviously it's not on Netflix yet. So at least I don't think it's on Netflix. I looked at Netflix earlier. I didn't see it on there. So I'm not entirely sure.
I hope it's not a trick like Annihilation, where it's like, here's a Netflix film. Go out and see it unless you live in Australia.
Well,
or wherever.
Quick little check should show us, maybe.
Well, I will be watching on Netflix, unfortunately.
Oh,
yeah, same.
Me too. Do we have a release date then?
This
Friday.
weekend?
Is it Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yay! So Zack Snyder's coming back to zombies, so I'm excited about that. I love Dawn of the Dead. As much
I
as I
do
respect,
Yeah.
as much as I
There's-
respect George Romero, I liked Snyder's vision of this.
Oh, you forgot to mention the news that he was also coming back to Sucker Punch.
I forgot.
There's a reason for that.
See,
That is 1 4-hour cut that we don't need.
It's gonna be like one long music video, slow motion, and
I'm not
forgot the
watching
name of that
4
band.
hours of that movie unless it's amazing. Maybe if it's like
maybe he's actually just gonna make it shorter.
that's fine. 10-minute cut. The trailer cut.
Yeah, right.
I cut
Really
out
good
all the
trailer.
scenes
Really
that
bad.
aren't fighting.
Yeah.
It's just all fight scenes now.
And Jenna Malone.
And Jenna Malone.
Yeah.
And Emily Browning.
That's her name. I was trying to think of her name. I
Yeah.
can't remember. But that's it. Unless you guys got anything else. Any other last thoughts or anything?
Nope, I'm out.
Cool. All right.
I don't think there's anything.
Oh, man.
There's a horse movie in theaters, so I'm not seeing that.
Did you guys know Oscar Isaac was in Sucker Punch?
Yep, he's one
Is
of
he
the
really?
scientists, right?
Yeah.
He's like the evil.
Remember
he's one of
that.
the evil people.
I'd totally forgotten about that.
I do know that John Hamm was in that movie.
Yep.
I've totally forgotten about that. Right back at you guys.
That's our future Batman.
Wait, did I hear Ryan say he's not going to go see Dream Horse this weekend?
I'm not going to see Dream Horse this weekend. Now you've heard me say it.
There we go. What about that Here Again movie? Isn't that what it's called with Billy Crystal, the one that Clint was excited about?
So funny story. Matt, you know how you keep saying you forgot people were alive?
Yeah. Oh no.
Wow.
No. Don't, yeah, we can't put that juju out there, man.
Dead serious. Rachel was like, "Do you want to go see this?" And I was like, "What do you mean, Billy Crystal?" I felt a little bad,
Bro.
but it's tough when people are like mostly retired.
Yeah, they don't get him to host the Oscars anymore.
They should. They
Oh.
could.
Here Today is the name of the movie.
Here Today.
Yes.
We actually got
Yeah.
that booked, oddly enough, this week.
It was supposed to come out on the 7th.
Yeah.
So it's been
But-
out.
Yeah, nothing came out this week except for that horse movie. So they're like, here, have this movie that people in Williamsburg will probably want to watch. Because it has Billy Crystal.
Geriatric Billy Crystal.
Yeah. Geriatric Billy Crystal. How old is Billy Crystal? You think is he in his 70s?
He's 73 years old.
Dang. Still younger than my dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't put that juju out. I don't want
Yeah.
Billy Crystal to go just yet.
Yeah, we still haven't got our third City Slickers yet.
Because that's what we need. City Slickers.
Hopefully I put that juju out there now. You're going to be like, really, Matt? City Slickers 3.
Jake Gyllenhaal's coming back.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea. There's no Brokeback references, please. That's good. It could be like a family thing. Like it'll be Billy Crystal and his son, and then he can have his son. Like we'll bring in that Finn kid who's in everything. Finn Wolf. Yeah. There we go. Book it.
That Finn kid.
That Finn kid. I'm making sure there's not 3 City Slickers. Yes, there's only 2.
Curly's Gold.
Yeah. R.I.P. Jack Palance.
Oh, well. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, just a quick reminder, we are on Apple and Google, Spotify, and Amazon Music Podcasts. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a comment. We like hearing from everybody. If that's it, this meeting is adjourned.
Hey.
Bye.